Twin Bill, where you can get your fill of hosts Jason and Marcus talking about movies and stuff. You know you never can get enough. A twin is two people who are related. Twin Bill. This season is Razzie Mania. Hello, and welcome to Twin Bill, the podcast where it's hosted by twins. That's the joke. We're talking about movies and we're doing our Razzie Mania thing about the Razzie movies. And we got another one of those today. I'm with my co-host and twin brother, Marcus Luna. How are you doing, Marcus?
Getting hot again, but managing it, doing well. How are you?
Fine, I need a job. Okay, and then
Hire this man.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Uh, what I watch is like a freaking master's thesis. So I'll you go first. What did you watch this week, other than the movie? Yeah.
Finally, cracking away at Daredevil Born Again season two. Pretty deep into it. I got through pretty quickly. Um, at least four episodes in. Eh, Maybe the movie's making me more, but I liked it a lot more than I expected.
It was fine. Seems repetitive of other Daredevils, but I guess you haven't finished yet, so you don't. Yeah. Okay. All right. Time for my spiel. I watched four things. I'll try to go quickly. Okay. Because of my one of my collaborators slash writing partners slash improviser friends, he was in a kids movie in the early 2000s called Undercover Kids about kids who solve crimes in middle school. Cannot recommend. It's really boring and poorly acted.
So I know who your friend is. I don't know if you want to promote him or not. So.
I don't know if he wants to. Well, I don't know. It was a theatrically released, probably straight to video movie. Dr. London Smith the Third. Shout out. Give him money, I guess. I don't know. Give me money first, but okay. And then of all things, not of all things, it just came out on home video. I watched Hoppers, the Disney robot, not Badger, Beaver, robot Beaver movie.
Beaver.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna go into my review now. It was good. Could have used a little more heart, like turning red, but it was entertaining enough. Like
Well, Heart sounds like your heart, but it was dragged on the show if I go into it. So
I know. Okay, I get it. I still said I liked it. I was gonna be the negative guy. Okay, fine. And then I'll briefly talk about this movie I watched. It's called Switching Channels. It's the third film adaptation of The Front Page by Ben Hecht and whatever his less famous writing partner is. Uh, His Girl Friday, and then literally called The Front Page by Billy Wilder. And then they're switching channels, say just like His Girl Friday, but it's set in the world of CNN cable news type thing, where Burt Reynolds plays the Cary Grant, and he's obnoxious and bossy. And why would you root for him to get the girl? Kathleen Turner was fine as the girl, not as good as Hildy or I guess Jack Lemmon, if you're into that kind of thing. Because there's no girl in the Billy Wilder one. Yeah, and then the most disappointing thing, my mega boy, Christopher Reeves. Reeves is it Reeves or Reeves? It's with an S, right?
no S.
Christopher Reeve played the vain, optional husband, and he was still more likable and still a better actor despite playing the guy that you're supposed to leave at the altar or whatever. So I was rooting for him the whole movie, and it was really depressing. And fuck Burt Reynolds, fuck Burt Reynolds. When he does a really boring laid in performance, it's really obnoxious.
Ted Kotcheff did First Blood, Weekend at Bernie's, Fun with Dick and Jane, and your movie you're just talking about now.
I mean, he did it, but he stole it from Ben Hecht in the 30s or whatever. But yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of those in Hollywood, so I don't call it Ted Kotcheff, but
This
okay.
one's official. They mentioned the front page in the credits of the switching channels. But, yeah, it's not my interpolation. Anyway, and then did you watch the video I sent you? Those 2 hours long.
No, I couldn't get to that. I did watch the trailer for this movie.
Okay, I'm gonna briefly give out about games I'm gonna buy or ask for the Switch 2. You got Rhythm Heaven Groove, which is a rhythm-based minigame collection, but it's got a Nintendo style. And they at the Nintendo Direct that was this week, they revealed it has an RPG mode, which looks really cool. What else? This game Orbitals, which looks freaking awesome. It's a two-player co-op game, and it's the way it's designed. It looks like a interactive video of an anime. It has really cool effects. What else? Expansions to Pokemon Pocopia. Pocopia is kind of a weird game, kind of hard to play, but I'm still probably interested in that. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave looks good. Fire Emblem is fun but hard. Cool game I never heard of before called Ninja 2. It's a open world sort of a sandbox adventure game where you play a ninja fighting other ninjas. Very cool looking. Probably thing you like the most, and I like it too, is on the Nintendo Switch Online for Nintendo Switch 2. They have a DK challenge where they give you challenges from old Donkey Kong games. That's pretty cool. Some Mario DLC in the Donkey Kong Bonanza game I haven't gotten to yet. Almost there. And anything else? Oh yeah, Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. There was a resort game for the Wii. I don't think either of us played that, but it's an interactive island with the Wii sports games on it. It was very popular back in the day. Definitely want to play that. Star Fox remake looks awesome. Saw more of that. Dragon Quest Monsters. It's like Pokemon with Dragon Quest characters. It looks awesome. Splatoon Raiders, single player Splatoon. It does indeed look awesome. And oh yeah, the big reveal at the end was the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is getting a 3D remaster, remake, whatever. And it looks really good. So yeah, yeah. So some people were disappointed. I guess I was generally disappointed because there was no hint of the new Mario game, and the first party Nintendo stuff wasn't as explosive as people were expecting. But definitely still some good games to play for the rest of this year that have been announced so far. So there you go. My fast-paced Nintendo breakdown. Speaking of breakdowns, let's talk about Seems Like Old Times. Seems Like Old Times, the early 1980s. Historically accurate. Right. Okay, let's start. So this movie's directed by Jay Sandrich. I don't know how deep you went down the Jay Sandrich rabbit hole. I went pretty deep. His dad is Mark Sandrich, who directed I think almost double digit of classic Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies. And Mark Sandrich directed Top Hat. And yes, and Top Hat featured a one of the first roles for Lucille Ball, and it's important because Lucille Ball thought that Mark Sandrich was such a kind director that when his son Jay Sandrich was looking for work, she got him a job working as an assistant director on I Love Lucy. And Jay Sandrich's career was made for basically 40 years after that. Around the time of this movie, he had worked on Mary Tyler Moore from 1970 to 1977. And then Soap was 77 to 80. So, in my notes, I said 2 sitcoms that are much better than this movie. There you go. Yep. I think I guess I didn't say technically this is only feature film he ever directed, which is kind of bizarre. I'll talk about it a little more later, but probably deserves a second chance. But yeah. And movie was written by Neil Simon. Anyone? Uh this is 3 years after he gave Richard the competition Dreyfuss. That's what everyone knows Richard Dreyfuss for. Gave Richard Dreyfuss his only Oscar for writing The Goodbye Girl. So there you go. And then for this movie, you know how Quentin Tarantino likes to watch old movies and then just do them again in his movies.
Yeah, it's certainly an aspect of a lot of some of his films. Yeah.
Well, apparently Neil Simon was either thinking about or had just rewatched a 1942 film called Talk of the Town, in which Cary Grant plays an innocent man who's on the lam. Jean Arthur is the woman who takes him in, and Ronald Colman is the third man, uh, basically left hanging. So I don't know if that movie's better or not. I've
It's
got
directed by George Stevens, who's uh was the most recent kind of subject of the most recent What Went Wrong episode because they did Giant, which he also directed.
Giant was calamitous, famously. You know, it's just over budget mostly, I guess. But yeah.
Only for several Oscars. I don't, yeah, just but yeah, I just and James Dean's last movie and Rock Hudson and James Dean hate each other. Yeah, a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess a lot of expensive movies kind of get the rub in retrospect when they're successful at the Oscars. Lots of examples of that. Okay, there's three producers on this movie because Lord knows this movie needed three hands-on talents to maintain all the dogs. I don't know what they're doing, but one of the producers was Margaret Booth, who is one of the first major film editors in Hollywood history. She literally cut film for D.W. Griffith. Uh, she edited the. You ever see Murder by Death? I don't know why you would, but
Heard about it, but no.
it's yeah, Neil Simon's very. Oh, I thought it was very good, but very silly parody of detective movies. Lots of impersonating famous detectives. Anyway, uh, Margaret Booth did not like this movie. She said Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn didn't have chemistry or good enough chemistry, and I kind of agree. We'll get to this when we talk about Goldie Hawn, but this is my least favorite Goldie Hawn starring vehicle that I've seen. I'm close. Another producer is Roger Rothstein, uh, another guy who lumped in with Neil Simon very early on. But more importantly, in 1983, he will produce a movie called Two of a Kind, in which John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John are two people chosen by God as people God will watch to see whether the world will be destroyed. It's apparently terrible, and we'll see you at the Razzies.
Oh,
It looks really bad. And then another producer is Ray Stark, in relation to the Iron Man. Fortunate, I don't think. It's one of the earliest, well, in terms of the '60s, earliest super producers. He was an agent who started producing movies. He produced Kubrick's Lolita, Barbara Streisand's Funny Girl, every John Huston movie made after 1960, pretty much every Herbert Ross movie, and pretty much every Neil Simon movie. And
wow.
yeah, so very long track record. Yeah, and 2 years after Seems Like Old Times, he'll make more millions of dollars because he was a producer on Annie.
Hmm. The one with what's his face?
Carol.
Starbucks.
Yeah, we were each struggling for different character actors.
Or Penny.
Yeah, Carol, and Carol, what's her face, is the evil orphanage owner.
Carol Burnett.
Yes.
Yeah. Why
Okay.
she go villain like that? Yeah.
No, yeah, she's fine. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. Story's a little flat. Pretty
Not original Annie.
okay. So the music is done by the winner of the "What Are You Doing Here" award for this movie, Marvin Hamlish, one of two winners, along with Richard Rodgers, of the PGOT, Pulitzer, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. And it actually makes sense he did this movie, aside from the fact that composers take jobs for literally everything. Because this movie came out 7 years after the career-defining Sting, and The Way We Were, and he had just done The Spy Who Loved Me. So Marvin Hamlish wasn't the slam dunk pretty much ever again in the 80s. But yeah.
I mean, do like Sophie's Choice and Ordinary People after, but well, like Ordinary People's same year, but
Yeah, so I guess no, like a lot of composers, he floats around. He did the a very competent score. It was actually pretty good for the Informant, the Steven Soderbergh comedy thing.
and Behind the Candelabra, which was released after he died. Also very, I think it was a good score. It was an excellent movie.
Yeah, I never saw the Cabinet Candelabra. All right, let's talk about the cast. You got top billing according to Wikipedia. I mean, she is definitely co-lead at least, but Goldie Hawn as Glenda Parks. She's the DA's wife and Nick Gardenia's ex-wife. This movie came out the same the same fucking year as Private Benjamin. We're watching the wrong movie. Anyway, I love Private Benjamin, but yeah.
Never seen it. I haven't seen a lot of Goldie.
I didn't see a lot till recently, and then I watched like three in a row. It was Private Benjamin, the other one, Protocol, which isn't as famous, but was very good, and then Wildcats, yeah, all excellent, different ways. But yeah.
She's
Anyway,
in. She's in My Blue Heaven. Oh no, she's just a producer. Never mind.
yeah, it's weird. Steve Martin, Goldie Hawn trying to make a connection. I don't know. She just like
Executive, executive producer, so she just moved up in the world and did that along with acting.
she just loves mafia movies. Why don't you just kill the guy? Like going kind of impression. Okay, moving on.
Just say that some focused like a command like a dog or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Goldie Hawn said on this movie. Needs more dog.
Oh my God, that was not the
Hey, you're exasperated at a Simpsons joke? You laugh. You laugh. Moving on. Okay. Uh yeah, like I said before, this movie for Goldie Hawn lacks the character arc and range of most of her other movies. She was the star. I didn't like how she had to pretend to be uh disconnected all the time. She either was having a panic attack or fake crying for large portions of the ending of the movie. It was kind of odd.
yeah. So I want to set up how stressful her life is, and she's probably thinking it can't get any more stressful than it is. So yes, that kind of are asking her to do a lot of heavy lifting. I don't, Neil
Yeah,
Simon.
it's just weird because I guess it's an effect of starring with Chevy Chase because all of her other movies are like feminist and like the woman does things by herself and doesn't need a man, and then this one's kind of like very she's basically dependent on two men. But, yeah. Anyway, we also have Chevrolet Chase as the kids call him as Chevy Chase as Nick Gardenia, Glenda's ex-husband. He's on the lam because he was forced to rob a bank. I don't know, I think we agree on this. It's a very laid back, slacker in real life seeming approach to the role. Pretty much every line he said he was rolling his eyes and not, I guess it's supposed to be a sarcastic, funny man.
It's a version of typical Chevy Chase for fast talking, um, saying one thing and then someone goes, huh? And he says, and then to fix the situation, he says something, says an opposite thing really fast and stuff. So he's been a lot funnier in other movies. I don't know, it's hard to describe it.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a lot of it's just a limitation of the dialogue, which gets impacted, gets what's the word, reflected on him. But yeah, and then I gotta work on my continue my catchphrase. This is the same fucking year as Caddyshack. We're watching the wrong movie. Okay, all right. This is kind of the end in my weird theory. Kind of getting close to the end of Chevy Chase as a leading man, because it's like Foul Play was a hit 2 years before. Seems like Old Times was not a hit, and then he was in hits, but they were either family films with that specific orientation, like the National Lampoon ones, or like an ensemble and Three Amigos. The only one I could think of was Fletch, but even that's sort of more of a niche film, especially in hindsight. But yeah, that's my Chevy Chase theory that this is kind of the end of his big push. Yeah, because in the '90s we get to Nothing But Trouble and Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and we'll see you at the Razzies. Nothing But Trouble is really bad. I haven't got all the way through before, but bad. We also have Charles Grodin as Ira Parks, the district attorney, and Gloria's wife. He wants to arrest Nick because he doesn't like him. And I agree. Yeah, I had a note here. I was kind of sad that Seems Like Old Times made his IMDb top 4, but at least he's pretty good in it, I guess.
Yeah.
He's obviously best known for playing even more than this movie, but kind of like this movie, caustically sarcastic and somewhat unlikable comedy characters like the Heartbreak Kid and stuff. Yeah.
Which I thought coming when I was I may have never learned or forgotten that Heartbreak Kid is a Neil Simon related movie as well. So this is only the second I saw, and Heartbreak Kid was the first. Much better movie. I recommend it.
I haven't seen Heartbreak Kid yet. I know I'd like it, but yeah. Anyway, and the biggest thing that Charles Grodin did before this movie, I don't think you'd ever guess it. He was in the King Kong remake, apparently.
76 one or whatever.
Yeah, the Dino De Laurentiis, probably as confused as Flash Gordon.
Grodin is in that?
Yes.
He's probably a guy who wants to make a lot of money on King Kong. Doesn't Jeff Bridges play that heroic Adrian Brody type
Yeah.
character?
Jessica Lange plays Fay Ray, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I want to mention, because it's one of my favorite movies ever, 1980 is only 14 years before Clifford. Woo!
So Beethoven and
Clifford.
Midnight Run might be his arguably his best work.
Probably his most retrospectively revered movie is Midnight Run, I would say, yes.
Not Beethoven 5. There's a lot of Beethovens.
Beethoven in space. What?
Kind of mediocre Zach Braff comedy where he plays the father-in-law to Zach Braff, Amanda Pete's dad.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I remember being likable to a degree, but yeah.
But you're kind of forgetting it if you've already forgotten it.
There's so many movies to watch. I was trying to make Charles Grodin impression, but that didn't work. Okay, moving on. And then finally, I'm surprised he made the cast list on Wikipedia, but he's awesome in this movie. Robert Guillaume as Fred, Ira's number 2 in the DA office. He was literally in Jay Sandrich's soap, sitcom, and then he was just getting started in the spinoff, Benson. So it was pretty slam dunk he was going to get cast in this movie if he was available.
Yeah. He was willing to do this probably because of that relationship with Jay Sanders, because that part he ended up getting is very tiny.
I mean, he was really good in it, well, as we'll discuss. But yeah, And I don't know much to say about Robert Guillaume's career, so I'll just say this movie had some Rafiki wisdom to it, wouldn't you say? I don't know.
Something Benson. I don't know.
That or Sports Night. I don't want to talk about Sports Night, so it's not Aaron, Aaron Sorkin Razzie podcast. Okay, let's talk about the title. Shouldn't take that long, but seems like old times. I felt like should have been the name of a W.C. Fields movie or a Three Stooges short. It just seems way too long and old timey.
Yeah, a throwback and movies that seem a lot like plays, old timey comedy play or something title.
Yeah, it's
It's
it,
it's it's misfitting though because I guess because it's your ex-husband, it's like old times. But the phrase seems like old times means it's like wouldn't it be old people reminiscing about the 40s or something?
yeah. I had two thoughts on that. What you're talking about. One, like, yeah, every time Nick's around, it's like those old times of things being wacky because Nick Gardenia is insane and vaguely criminalistic. But then also seems like old times could be like a sarcastic thing because Nick's on the lam from the police and that didn't happen before. So I don't know which one they were going for, but it's kind of vague. And also, I wanted to say it's kind of meta because this is 2 years after Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase did a movie together, Foul Play. It's not the plot's not really the same, but it's sort of they're going for this like we're gonna make a bunch of movies together as a rom com pair. So it's kind of like here we go again as a sequel title almost. Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't think that's the case, but it arguably should have been. I think a sequel to Foul Play would have been better than this movie, but based I don't know. That's my interpretation, but yeah. Let's talk about the poster because poster is a hot mess. You can see some of it behind me. I have a list of things in the poster. You can add to it if you want, but can't see the pictures on the video podcast. But the you have just floating heads of Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn floating over a frame of presumably another poster within the poster, and Chevy Chase's face is now older than Chevy Chase in real life. He has super high cheekbones, and he's laughing, but his eyes are not smiling. He's got cold, dead eyes.
I could see it laughing so hard that its eyes are kind of in distress.
I guess you're giving it credit. And then Goldie Hawn just doesn't look like Goldie Hawn. It's just the wrong face,
Looks
and
like Farrah Fawcett kind of.
she's biting her lip super hard. It looks like she's broken through the lip. Yeah,
She's trying to keep she's holding in a laugh, perhaps.
you should be a publicity agent for whatever the studio this is. And then
So yeah.
okay, and then we have Charles Grodin in bed with Goldie Hawn, which sounds fine, I guess. But he's not wearing a shirt, and he looks like an old man with a sunburn on his shoulder. A physique,
Yeah.
boy.
I don't really mean him still tan, but I guess it's better than pale, but
And then the weirdest part is underneath the bed. You can't see it with me in the way, but they have Neil Simon drawn surprisingly well coming under the bed, and he's grabbing Goldie Hawn's toes.
sure it's not Chevy Chase.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure that's Neil Simon. Smaller face, different hairline.
Looks like Chevy Chase to me.
Whoever it is grabbing Goldie Hawn's toes in a poster. That should be rated X movie if you're gonna have that kind of like a poster.
He's under a bed throughout the movie. Like,
Yes. He literally references it afterwards as well. And yes, there's at least two or three scenes where someone's sleeping on top of him or laying on top of him on the bed. Yeah. Yep.
I think it's Chevy, but moving on.
I think it's Neil Simon. Moving on. See what he did there. Uh, so according to Google, this is the tagline to the movie, not this 10 pages of text on the poster. The tagline is alone dash at last dot dot dot. That's it. I don't understand.
You probably think it's about alluding to the fact that she thinks she's alone with Charles Grodin forever, and then her ex appears out of nowhere. That's the whole crux of the movie.
Yeah, could be a little longer or something, or a little I don't know, a little funnier. I don't know. I don't know much to say about the trailer. If I could pull up the thing on my computer. Not yet. Anyway, yeah, it's just it's really long for a trailer. It felt long. It's like 2 minutes, 10 seconds. It was just like a barrage of like setups and punchlines from the movie. And how'd you like the announcer voice? I wrote down it was like a Casey Kasem Jr. is like Chevy Chase and Guillaume.
Oh, there was a woman.
No, we're on different wavelengths today.
Uh, Voice was fine.
It wasn't bad. And then that song, it wasn't in the movie, and it kind of sounded like the entertainer. I don't know if they were just going for like a Marvin Hamlish sound, or I don't know. It's like it's like very like stuttery entertainer beats.
Yeah, nothing great or even good, but it's standard
Yeah.
screwball slapstick comedy vibe that Neil's definitely going with this movie.
Well, you could have cut off the last 30 seconds of that trailer and it would have been fine. But other than that, yeah, it was okay trailer. But yeah, yeah.
These trailers from week to week for these Razzie movies are blending together, so I have a really hard time comparing them
Well,
and like saying which is what's a good example or a bad example.
Flash Gordon is great. Everything else sucks. But also, this was just too long on its own. No, I'm not comparing it to anything. But anyway, yeah. Let's talk about the awards this movie got. It's a very short list because just the one. It was a Razzie nomination. Can you guess what actor got it? Well, you probably saw it at this point, but in your objective mind, who do you think would be the worst actor for or best, I guess, for a Razzie nomination?
I'm not gonna give it. Well, it's not even his fault, but you're not gonna give it to TK Carter for his stereotypical character. I would I would have guessed Chevy, but you'll tell the people who actually got the nomination.
Yeah, Charles Grodin was nominated for worst supporting actor, losing to John Adams or Adamus in Gloria.
Big one.
John Adams, then fine. Portly president had a quasi war with France. Star of Gloria, yes. Uh, anyway, yeah, Laurence Olivier and Jazz Singer and John Adams and Gloria. Uh, Charles Grodin was good in the movie. He's a talented actor. I was very befuddled by this nomination, other than I guess he's kind of famous, but not really. Weird.
I mean, if you're comparing Heartbreak, he's the lead in Heartbreak Kid for one thing, and he's kind of more of a Chevy Chase type than Heartbreak Kid, where he gets to be silly. With this, he has to play straight man at Chevy Chase, the panicked uh, institutional man. But they only do a bad job. I don't think Charles Grodin ever does a bad job acting. This is a bewildering waste of a nomination.
Yeah, I would have picked Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn, T.K. Carter, and whoever played the Latina maid who only talks Latina things over him. Yeah.
It's like it's Yvonne Wilder.
Yeah, don't recognize her from anything else. Yeah.
Because she was in very few movies. She was
Okay.
another person who was in West Side Story.
Wow. That doesn't change anything, but wow, that's weird.
This guy directed a handicap movie, and then last week we had some. who was in West Side Story. I think in either of the two movies we reviewed last week. Can't remember who. Oh wait, no need to dwell on it.
Yeah. Uh, so we can get started on the trivia break. We have a little bit of time. So let me say it's not really done for the trivia break, but I think it's more. I think it's more fun this way. Uh, I rephrased TK Carter's quotes as children's jokes. See if you can remember the answer. TK Carter insists he did not steal his chauffeur's hat. He found it. Where did he find his chauffeur's hat?
I want to do my TK Carter impression, but I might get canceled. On the chauffeur's head.
Yep. Why did TK Carter run a stop sign while driving the first time? So I'll accept in either order, but
Because he was looking towards the second stop sign.
no. I hate reading while driving.
Yeah.
And what does he say after he runs a stop sign the second time?
It's a good joke.
Obviously.
I'm still focused on my drive and
You're actually kind of close. That's what I get for keeping my eyes on the road. When Charles Grodin tells TK Carter to clean a crystal wine glass, how does TK Carter clean it?
he cleans it of the wine by drinking it.
Yes, he pours wine in and starts drinking. Hilarious. So I don't remember the context, but someone asked TK Carter if he ever served. What is his answer?
I served time in prison.
No. Yeah, I did 2 years at McDonald's.
It was 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Sorry. Makes more sense.
Because it was Charles Grodin. Because I think it was Charles Grodin because he has to rely on him to be the butler because like a staff.
Yeah. So I don't have anything of note for the technical Oscars to discuss. This is a very flat, competently designed movie. Give me a
Yeah.
category you're interested in.
I'll just say Hamlish. He's not given a lot to do. I think it might be the same song for the opening and closing credits.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah.
Yep. Well, I think might
No, go ahead. I meant cinematography, editing, sound, visual effects, production design, makeup and hairstyling, or costume.
production design. It was a nice looking house, I guess, very purple. But I said before it looked like a play, and the set design was like that because it was really focused on the house.
Yeah, a lot of two
I
dimensional.
think a lot of Chevy Chase leaving the house to go do things, but no scenes of him actually doing those things. It's him randomly coming back to the house.
No mention something you said about the play because this whole movie is basically two-dimensional cinematography. There's not a lot of camera moves, push-ins, uh, eccentric close-ups, etc. It's pretty much just shot, reverse shot, wide shot, very traditional. Yeah, yeah. So perfect time for a break. Now it's time for the Twin Bill Awards or whatever it's called. Okay, yeah, yeah. Woo.
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay, I figure if we're doing one movie and not two, it's okay to do both best and worst for the categories. Shouldn't take too long. So okay, let's do okay, best scenes. I only have two candidates. One, all the stuff with Pee-wee's Big Adventure and character actor Mark Alamo, who played Cardassian General Gold on Star Trek D69. But anyway, those two guys making Chevy Chase go on their bank robbery, or the wacky dinner at the end, which I wanted to briefly mention, features character actor George Grizzard as the governor. He's in a brilliant Twilight Zone episode where this guy's going out with this girl, and it turns out he's a robot, and it's awesome. But yeah, anyway, one of those scenes or something else.
Best scene. Yeah. I might spoil your best quotes, but whatever. I'd say guess the dinner scene because when Chevy Chase has to become the butler because TK Carter's too drunk, and Robert Guillaume goes, "Oh shit!" That was one of the few times I laughed out loud. So I will give it to dinner scene for best.
Sounds like that's a good write-in for best quote because I did not think of that one. That was good though. Yes, pretty much every line that every quasi funny Robert Guillaume line was really good in this movie. But anyway, worst scene, a lot more options. As you referenced before, limp disco music playing over generic California beach scenes on the opening. The actual bank robbery. What?
Or something basically.
Like, that's what I remember. But anyway, the actual bank robbery, surprisingly flat. Uh, the Native American kid watching an Ali fight on TV and letting a dog get out doesn't tell anyone or do anything about it. The Native, also, same Native American guy trying to have sex with a Spanish speaking woman who doesn't understand what he's saying in Goldie Hawn's car. It's supposed to be funny. And then, Chevy talking to Goldie Hawn about the bank robbery fails to explain it clearly at all while eating chicken. Uh, Goldie's various excitations, which I mentioned before, like fake crying and pretending to have a nervous tick and stuff. All of the unsolicited Chevy Chase kissing Goldie Hawn that's supposed to be romantic and is not rapey. And then the weird cabin in the woods ending where Charles Grodin is seriously injured and Goldie Hawn is way too excited to see Chevy Chase in a cabin. Well, there's something else.
I'm not gonna pick that last one, but Charles Grodin breaks his leg somehow in a very mild car accident. My leg's broken. I tapped this tree with the front of my car. My leg's broken. Uh,
Oh, my leg. I can't feel my leg. I mean, yeah.
uh, well, yeah, I guess it's appropriate that the dinner at the end is probably the best scene. Best use of people comically entering and exit rapidly. Blah blah blah. Kind of the whole thing, and this relates to the Native American man who's part. The two of them are constantly stealing cars in the movie. By the way, it gets really flat very quickly. Trying to so in totality, everything that happens with the how bad the first dinner party goes. It's very lazy and racist Americans and the Latinos and the black and TK Carter. So yeah, I'm just playing it too long, but the first dinner party and including the propositioning in the car.
Yes. Okay, now let's move on to the quotes awards. For best quote, I only have three nominees. Um, one one of my favorite laughs in the movie is right at the beginning too. The bank robber shows Chevy Chase's gun. He says, "You see this?" And he's like, "No, I'm blind." That made me laugh. The delivery, and then Chevy Chase. They're telling Chevy Chase about the banknote, and Marco Lamo actually reads the whole thing out loud. And Chevy Chase is like, "That's really good writing. Take it from a professional." And then Marco Lamo goes, "See." That was like one of the few actual clever gags in the movie. And then it wasn't that funny, but I like it when people say the name of the movie in your movie. And Chevy Chase says, "Times like this, I wonder why we got divorced." And Goldie Hawn says, "Times like this is why we got divorced."
Well, he
One
even
of those,
says later at some point it says seems like old times.
one of those quotes or something else.
No, I was tempted to throw in Charles Grodin saying the way he says time because he says Chevy Chase can kiss Goldie Hawn at the end, but only for a short amount of time. And he calls time on them.
Yeah,
But jeez, I have to go with no, those are that great, but I'll go with the take it from a writer I know banknote thing.
yeah. Robert Guillaume saying "oh shit" was probably the winner, but yeah. Anyway, worst quotes. There's a lot of them. Okay, the hilarious gas station wordplay thing. It's like, do you want regular gas or premium? Oh, regular is fine. Say premium. Premium. Do you want the hood of your car pulled up? Yes. No. I mean, no. Yeah, that was pretty bad. The other gas station. A little bit of trivia first. The other gas station when Chevy Chase is all like beaten up and fell off the cliff and stuff. Uh, the guy running that gas station, they did this thing in the 80s with TV movies where they gave each in the Brady Bunch, each of the girls a husband. One of those husbands, the gas station attendant. Anyway, he's going through the candy machine, and like the quote I thought was so dumb. He's like, how about Crunch Bars? Crunch Bars are good. And he's trying to give Chevy Chase candy.
Yeah.
And then Chevy's talking to Goldie. He says, I spent 2 years in a cell with two cockroaches that committed suicide. And then I just put this because it's kind of mean. Goldie Hawn's yelling at her maid when she's all befuddled. She says, who could think of breakfast at a time like this? This didn't seem like a very nice thing to say when people eat breakfast in the morning, but and then the maid says, he didn't look like no decorator I've ever seen before. That was pretty bad. And then the freaking monologue Chevy Chase gives, I'm paraphrasing it, but he's like, my name is Harris J. Freelander. I'm from Oxnard. I make president's heads out of driftwood. We employ the handicapped. Yep. Uh,
Oh, well, it made me laugh because there's a lot of the randomness kind of made me kind of enjoy like this movie, but
let's still got more.
no,
Anytime the Native American boys are referred to as Indians,
that was awesome. Yeah.
Goldie Hawn tells the judge that she's representing two Mexican women, and the judge goes, naturally, because Goldie Hawn loves those indigenous peoples. Uh,
Harold Gould, who was in this thing, was the judge.
he does not want to be remembered for seems like old times. Okay, I don't want to put this in quotes, whatever. Goldie Hawn pretending to have the vapors or crying command and stuff, whatever. And I had to put one TK Carter quote in here, so I put I don't remember why. He says, nobody's gonna be looking out the windows while they're eating.
Well, because he's lazy. That's another trope for black people too often. And clean the windows while you're. And then he said, then that's his witty response.
So one of those or something else. It's a great movie for quotes.
I'm gonna go. Well, this isn't a great choice for an alternate because I don't remember the exact words. But the governor, played by George Grizzard, recognizes T.K. Carter and says, "You're the guy who stole my hubcaps." Says they brought that up multiple times, and how lazily they wrote T.K. Carter's character, and Neil Simon was just fishing the black tropes sea
Yeah.
as a black guy got in trouble for stealing hubcaps. It's just
Maybe he thought like Richard Pryor was so popular that I can do it too or something. I don't know. To try to give him some credit, but geez.
it's true. The way T.K. Carter was talking was kind of like a homeless man's Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Richard Pryor writes his own jokes too, so I was like, yeah. Uh okay, so yeah, that was like great rewards. Let's talk about people in this movie who had their career high points or low points in this movie. Actually, good candidates for both. For high point, obviously Jay Sandrich because he never directed a movie again, and I thought he was fine with this one. Um, Shockingly, Robert Guillaume never really had a chance to be in movies after this. I couldn't find a lot, and I feel like
Well, Rafiki, but yeah, live action.
he
I think more of a TV guy.
he did a good job in this movie. I think he should have got more chances. But and then Oh, and then I cheekily put Charles Grodin in here because it's not his high point of his career, but in kayfabe, his character has sex with Goldie Hawn. So good job.
Oh, jeez.
One of those or something else. Obviously, the Charles Grodin argument.
Uh, this isn't like an adequate sitcom episode, so I guess Sanders deserves some credit. It's not that great though. Yeah, I'll give it to Guillaume. He's a he plays the part of a what assisting attorney at Charles Grodin's office, I guess, very well. Oh no, he's like he's works in his campaign, I think. I actually I don't know his job, sorry.
It's confusing because he was a regular lawyer, and they just quickly made him a district attorney in like the first act, and then so it was very all over the place. But yeah,
He works what Robert Guillaume does because he acts like a campaign worker, but I think he actually works in the office. But God knows what he does.
well, DA probably has like advisors because it's publicly elected position and stuff. So
Wikipedia says he's his assistant. What the fuck does that mean?
TK Carter, but slightly older.
Yeah, he acts serious. The seriousness he brings to the dinner scene where he's helping try to bust Chevy Chase adds to the comedy. So I think he does well. So I'll give it to Guillaume.
Okay, I have four candidates for a low point of their career. Uh, TK Carter doesn't have a lot of roles to choose from, but this was disappointing for everyone involved. Uh, Chevy Chase, he's done much worse since this movie, but this was the peak of his powers. He was still popular, still making good movies, and this movie was a big waste of time, so it's kind of a low point. Neil Simon kind of speaks for itself. I can't, I don't, I mean, I don't, I'm not a, I don't know his whole body of work, but this is pretty bad. And then Marvin Hamlish, end of his mainstream run, pretty mediocre score. So, Royals or something else.
You have to give it TK because I thought about Chevy Chase while I was watching the movie and thinking about this movie, but I think he was worse. I haven't watched since we were kids, but that Jonathan Taylor Thomas movie he was in.
Oh, something about, well, obviously something about dad. I don't, yeah, the summer camp Native American thing. I don't know what that was.
No, maybe there's that one too, but isn't the one where Farrah Fawcett's a single mom?
Yeah, we're thinking of the same thing. I'm just remembering it poorly, but yeah.
Um, so I'm giving it to TK Carter for it's not, I don't think it's his fault. I'm not sure any black person would rise above the way stereotypically he's written. Although the way he reads his lines is very cheesy, going for lame jokes. And I think his performance, Dr. Detroit, is a lot better than in this.
Yeah, only like sitcom stuff you haven't seen, like Punky Brewster. It's probably worse than this, but that's about it.
No, anything. I've seen clips of Punky. I don't think I've tried to sit through an episode. And
Yeah. Okay, then I move on to our then I'm doing both because it's whatever, but the Andre Dawson legitimate positive MVP award, I'm gonna call it. My nominees are Robert Guillaume, Charles Grodin, Pee-wee's Big Adventure guy, and Marco Lamo from Deep Space Nine. That's my pick. Those guys were hilarious and they're barely in the movie. And George Grizzard as the governor. I love that guy. A very small part, but yeah, one of those or something else.
I feel like sometimes it should be none of the above, but I actually kind of like this movie, so I won't do that here. I'll say Grizzard because I think the lame jokes he tells, like, because everyone else is tense because Chevy Chase is right there and he's a fugitive, and He says like, if if you keep rehabilitating people, I'll be out of a job. And then it kind of clever. I think the writing is somewhat clever and that added to the tension. So I give it to Grizzard, or however we pronounce it.
Yeah, I never heard it said out loud, but yeah. And then the Brett Honeywell Jr. Negative MVP award. Brett Honeywell's a terrible candidate for name for that, but whatever. Garo, your premium's better for trying to throw a pass as a kicker. Anyway, rambling. Uh, my negative candidates are uh separate candidates, but all in the same vein of poorly written racial stereotypes. TK Carter as the sassy chauffeur, Native American boys doing crimes, and the Latina maid who just says Latina maid things. Also, Chevy Chase, because I don't like his performance that much, and comedy involving dinner set pieces and comedy involving dogs going out of doors. I probably go with the comedy of dogs going out of doors. That got really boring.
Yeah, I'll go with the dogs too. Wasn't just doors, but it's a lot of dog set pieces. Like Goldie Hawn takes an exasperated lying down in bed because she's exhausted from the stress and work and everything, and the dogs are laid out perfectly for her to nestle in between them. There's so much dog choreography, I'd call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if these six dogs all know each other, and the people who made the movie are like, we gotta use these six. We have these six dogs. They work great together. We gotta use them as much as possible. Or my It probably didn't happen that way, but I'm kind of thinking they probably just wanted to add as a quirk of their character that she always has lots of dogs.
Yeah, it fits Goldie Hawn's persona in real life. She's a very nice person and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, huge one and a tiny one, and then four mid, probably another tiny one, and then three mid-sized dogs. Probably how they cast it.
Yeah. So we're almost gonna wrap things up, but I guess I'll go first on where this movie ranks in the Razzie Pantheon. This movie's functional and it aims what it wants to do. As much as I make fun of this movie, it's not really like a broken or so bad it's a good movie or what the fuck is this kind of thing. Uh it's successful in that regard. So I kind of wish the Razzies didn't nominate this movie. I didn't have to think about it on a podcast level, but it's fine. It's below the good Razzie ones like Windows and uh I'm blanking, but you know what I mean. Classy ones, Shining and whatever, is way below that, but it's not bad. Your thoughts?
Okay. Uh, I think I had more fun with this than you. I think some of the fast talking that you found tedious, I enjoyed. It's the big drawback with, for one thing, how he never goes to jail. I mean, it's a screwball comedy. It's supposed to be realistic, but I told you while we were in our offline chatter that first, speaking of Simpsons joke, which you made earlier, the Millhouse watching Poochie on Itchy and Scratchy and saying, when are they getting to the fireworks factory? I literally wrote my notes. Why is the movie halfway through and Chevy Chase isn't in jail yet? I thought because he's not doing a good job of hiding himself, and they even make fun of the fact how easy it was to take a picture of him in the bank, robbing the bank. So it's dumb, but I had fun with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had fun with most of the Razzie movies. So it's but definitely obviously below the elite, which is just Shining and Gloria probably. Maybe there's another elite. Maybe you could throw Friday the 13th, although that has its flaws. But something, I guess it's below that. I guess it's controversial take, but tied with Windows-ish, maybe a little below. It's definitely top tier of Razzie stuff. I would appreciate more fun comedies like this. I really like Goldie Hawn and Charles Grodin.
Yeah, it's fine. I definitely watch Charles Grodin do anything, not so much Goldie Hawn, but they both make good movies. So yeah. All right. Before we go, time to see if you can guess next week's movie.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is one of those not super famous ones, so you get the big clue one here. So this is a romantic drama slash western produced by Sidney Pollack, starring Willie Nelson, Diane Coast to Coast Cannon, Amy the Competition Irving, and Slim Pickens.
Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Okay, try to do a word clue thing. So the first word is a compound word. So the first compound is what bees make, and the second compound is what baby animals do on a teat.
Honeysuckle rose or something?
It is honeysuckle rose. It is slightly positive on Rotten Tomatoes again too. Available for free on YouTube. I'll send you the link, but you can just look it up. It's free.
Like Gloria was free.
Yep.
No, that's a good format. Probably better, higher quality than Tubi.
Yes. And much better than a Russian cosmonaut YouTube channel or whatever.
You owe us. You don't think you owe us, but you owe us. We're using our service. Uh,
So yeah, that's about it. We'll talk about that movie next week. Yeah. Okay. Had fun with the categories. Okay, yeah. And see you next week on Twin Wheel.
See ya.
Book me on your shows or let's be best friends and hang out maybe. I don't know.